Hello and welcome to the Airgun World Podcast, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest Premier Airgun Centre and Ranges. I'm Dave Barham, and joining me today is my ever-faithful co-host, Sir Terry Doe. How are you doing, mate?
All good, mate. Loving the retired life.
Excellent stuff. That's what I like to hear. We've got a very special studio guest today. It's Danny Brookfield. Now, Danny, for those of you who don't know, is the mastermind behind Camelots Airgun Club and Ranges up just south of Doncaster, isn't it? Danny, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm really good, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on the show. Much appreciated.
Excellent stuff. I mean, I recently did a feature on the Airgun Club and your ranges up there, and I was pretty much blown away by what you've managed to achieve so far. And you're still going, aren't you? You're still building, you're still developing.
Yeah, so from when we first opened the range, it's almost 12 months. Actually, we're going to be hosting the first Camelots Cup, we're calling it, a club shoot for all members. We've just got over 150 members, so it's a great milestone to have hit. And it's ever growing. And the club's actually, from the vision that I first had of the club, of how we designed it and how I wanted it, it's probably changed about 15 times since then.
Excellent stuff. Now, there is, I did write this in the feature, there is a little bit of history behind the name of the club. Do you want to expand on that? Because it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Right, so when I leased the land off the local farmer, basically the actual ground, it was a medieval jousting ground, apparently, where people from all over the country would come and take part in medieval jousting and medieval sports. And it kind of come up with the name Camelots. So that's where it originated from.
I like the fact that you've got, because we'll talk about your facilities and the ranges and stuff that you've got there, but just to let the listeners and viewers know, it's quite entertaining as you walk around. All the ranges, of which there are many, have got different names like Sir Lancelot and King Arthur, and I think it's brilliant.
That was actually down to my other half, bless her. She, I want to name the courses and the ranges after the kids, and she was like, no, we've got to keep it in keeping with Camelot. So she said it should be King Arthur and Guinevere and Sir Lancelot. So that's how, I've got to thank her for that.
Nice one. Now, Terry, you're no stranger to Danny either, are you, mate? Do you want
to
let everyone know what your relationship is?
Well, I've got a very interesting. Danny bought me. He actually bought me. He won me in a raffle. He did. I was subject of a charity auction for a charity called Lucy's Bowl that provides funds for guide dogs for the blind. And a great friend of mine runs that charity, and I put myself up for it every year. And Danny was very, very generous, and he bought me for a full day's tuition at Bisley, which, I had a great time. I hope Danny enjoyed himself, but that's when I met him and discovered how remarkable he is. And he's an absolute top lad, all-round shooter, loves his shooting. He's got some superb kit, and he's doing a bit of good for the sport as well. So, I got myself a good one that day, without a doubt.
Yeah, a great day too. Loved it, yeah. Like meeting one of my, childhood heroes as well, from being shooting since I was about 5 and stuff, and as you're growing up and stuff, and seeing Terry in the magazines and actually going to get to shoot with him and have a lesson off him were great.
Nice one. Now, your background as a businessman is renewable energies, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm an electrician by trade, and then I set up doing renewables, solar panels and things in 2011, and been doing it ever since.
Because when I visited you, you informed me that the entire range and everything up there is completely self-sufficient. It's a great place to go for a zombie apocalypse, isn't it? You've got all your water comes from a well, is that correct?
Yeah, borehole, yeah. So well in a sense, yeah. And then we've got the power from solar panels, so yeah.
And because your clubhouse is really nice up there, and I know you've got plans for extending that. Just to let people know, put you in the picture. You drive in, there's a car park. It's a very short walk to the clubhouse. Directly outside the clubhouse and where the toilets are and stuff, there's a load of picnic benches on some hard standing. It's a very, very sociable place to be. It's not like you literally rock up and then you go and pick a lane and shoot. It's, they have little summer do's there and barbecues and all that sort of stuff. Danny, you said you had plans to put a little kitchen in there, because the actual clubhouse itself, we've got tea and coffee making facilities. There's a fridge full of Cokes and soft drinks and chocolate bars, of which I had many that day I came to see you. But yeah, I mean, how's things progressing with the bacon baps and sausage sarnies and stuff?
Yeah, so we're looking. I'm looking at getting another little container just to facilitate that, so that we can open up that. 'Cause, on the weekends, you can imagine it does get quite busy, and even through the week now. But yeah, I'm in the process of looking for something for that, so we can start offering that as well. We do offer bacon baps on like the open shoots and stuff that we hold like once a month and things. But to do it more on a regular basis for the members, yeah, it's something we obviously going to happen in the not so near future.
Am I right in saying that you're open 7 days a week?
Yeah, so you can go down 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's the little, obviously, the clubhouse is open on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday between 9 and 3, and then on a Saturday and a Sunday it's open between 9 and 3. But all members can have access to a gate key, which means they can go down between 9 and 5 and 9 and 7 on a Wednesday to go and shoot at their own leisure as well, even if we're not there. I mean, we had one guy, bless him, he was down there on Christmas Day all day shooting. So, yeah.
Playing with Santa's prezzies. Okay, so now let's talk about your pricing structure, because this is one thing that I made a point of really sort of stressing in the feature that I wrote, because you're not in this to make money. You've got a very successful business. You're doing this pretty much out of the kindness of your own heart, really, is from all I can say. Obviously, there is a membership fee, but just tell everybody what that involves, because there's no pay to play per lane after you've joined, is there?
Yeah, so basically, once you've joined, it's £20 a month. It's less than, it's £5 a week, and it's less than £5 a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's obviously all the access to the whole club and the whole site and everything. I wanted to develop something that would get younger kids into the sport, a lot like what I did. But my background of how I got into it through my dad, through farming and things and everything. I don't think there's enough younger people getting into the sport, to be brutally honest. And that's something that I want to kind of emphasise on and get a lot more people into it. I haven't got anything against any other clubs in the country. I think every other club's great because it always promotes our sport. But I was a member of another club, a local club, and it was very intimidating going down and seeing other guys with 3, 4, 5 grand guns, and you're there with a BSA meteor or something. You know what I mean? It's like you think, oh crap, but and it really puts you off. Or it can put people off. We have a few people that come down to our club and said the same. But I wanted it to be not like that. I wanted people to enjoy it, whether you've got a BSA meter or you've got a Styro or something that sort of level of shooting. So I did it around the pricing. That's why I did it at £20 a month, because I wanted everyone to feel welcome and make it affordable for everyone to be able to start off with as well, to be able to attract people, younger kids, into the sport as well. Yeah,
no, I think that's absolutely brilliant. It's, a lot of clubs. I'm a member of a club up here. You pay your membership fee. It's normally a yearly fee, and then you pay to shoot. But the way you've done it is you literally pay £20 a month, and you can go whenever you like.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few people say it's quite expensive as well for up this neck of the woods. But when you look at what we do, including that, we've got Dom, we've got Tony helping out now as well, and to maintain the whole site, it's a lot of work than what I ever envisioned. You're cutting the grass through the summer twice a week just to keep the ranges nice and looking fresh and stuff, and then you're doing constant battles with other bits as well, and things like looking after courses and trim the bushes back and maintaining the targets they need, spraying once a week and greasing and stuff. It's like a full-time job, really.
I don't really see how anyone can complain at that sort of price. I mean, on most ranges, you like say you join for a membership fee, and then you pay £7, £8, £9, £10 for a 2-hour session. You've only got to go twice in a month, and it's paid for itself, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
And what you've done is, like you quite rightly said, you've basically opened up access to people on lower incomes, including kids, who can go and shoot every day if they want to their heart's content for one monthly fee, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. When I was growing up as a kid, I had a little range in the back garden, but I used to love going down my local club range. But it got expensive. My mum, bless her, she used to pay for me to shoot. But nowadays, I'd be down there all weekend at your range if I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not going to have to pay 50 quid a day to shoot. You know. What are your views on that, Terry?
Well, again, I mean, I live down south, and you can't get near a pint of beer for a fiver. I can tell you that. So that's way less than a pint of beer a week to go and play with your guns whenever you want. Man, that's the best deal ever. Especially knowing Danny. I've not been to the range yet. I will do. Knowing Danny, it will be done right. It will be done right. You're not going to be sitting in the middle of a field like we started, literally in the middle of a field with no covered firing points, no benches, nothing. We took a beanbag and we plonked it on a firing line with no shelter of any sort. We had an old caravan and stuff. We won the UK Championship a couple of times as a team, but you had to be pretty much hardcore to be at, Mark 8 as it was then. That sounds a fantastic facility. But 20 quid a month, £5 a week. Wow. You get nothing for that, do you? I've just paid today. I got a gallon of petrol. It frightened me to death. You normally buy petrol by the litre. I bought a gallon today. I filled up a can for the mower for cutting the grass in the churchyard. I filled it up as a bit over the 5 litres, almost 6 litres. £8.75 for a gallon can of petrol. £8.75. I said to the guy, I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, that's the problem. You ought to have it in optics. It's not like you get brandy and you like get drinks in a pub. That's how petrol." Who'd have thought? So, 20 quid a month. Absolutely. Like you, Dave, that'd have been me there. I'd have been sleeping in the bushes and coming in early in the morning.
Yeah.
That'd have been, well done.
Well done. You would do, Terry. I mean, like I say, you haven't been up there yet. I have, and it is absolutely superb. There's loads and loads and loads of undercover lanes on, was it 2 or 3 different ranges you've got covered up there, Danny?
There's 3 now. There was originally 2, and then the amount of people that up-took memberships, I've had to extend it. So yeah, there's 3 now.
So you've got 3 covered ranges. You've also got 3 HFT courses as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've got one. We've made the one in the field. Was the field one up when you come down, Dave?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so we've restreamed all that and made that into a novice/practice course. So we've got targets from 8 to 45 yards on that one, all with 45mm kills now. So it is quite easy, but it builds your confidence up, and it's trying to promote people to get into the sport by building the confidence up and making it pretty easy for them to do it. So that's the King Arthur course. The Guinevere one now is like set out as UK HFT rules. We've got 2 people down now at the club that actually set courses out for proper UK HFT. So they've set their course out for us. And then the third one, which is Lancelot's, we've made a bit more like an extreme course. So that's like ultimate, proper hard, harder kills and stuff right out to about 45 again. So I've got no hope for it in them, mate.
Guinevere and Lancelot are both actually woodland courses. They're set in really nice woodland. And the other one is just open field, sort of at the end of where all the other ranges are. Yeah,
so Guinevere, the first 4 lanes or 5 lanes actually start in the field, so you've got a bit of a mixed course on that one. Going into the woodland, then Lancelot's is just all woodland now, yeah, at the end.
Are these courses permanently out?
Yeah, so they're permanently out. We try and change them once every 3 to 4 months, so it mixes it up a bit as well. Just to give you a bit of time.
When we were doing it, if we wanted to practice, if we wanted to train, we had to set a course out and bring it all back in again every single time. We had to get like 20 of the Sados, and sometimes, honestly, we're so keen. Sometimes we would do it at midnight at Markgate. We'd do it at midnight rather than not be shooting. But we had to set the course out, shoot the hell out. If we had enough, bring it all back in again. The idea of just rocking up there, getting your rifle perfectly zeroed in your lovely, comfy undercover range, and then using it almost for real on a course. What for 20 quid a month? Dear, oh dear. No, that is wonderful. That's a wonderful facility. Let's see what you'll get at a golf course for 20 quid a month.
Oh, massively, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, not a lot. Right, I'm going to go off topic slightly. Well, still staying on topic because the summer issue of Airgun World is still on sale at the moment. If you want to subscribe to the mag, we'll put a link down below in the description. You're going to get 13 issues of this delivered to your door. And we've got a money off voucher down there as well, so I'll put that in there. If you want to head over to airgun-world.com, airgun-world.com, check that out. There's loads of subscriptions offers on there, and you can also sign up to our bi-weekly newsletter as well, which is packed full of information and bits and bobs. And I shall actually, probably on the next newsletter after this comes out, the next newsletter, I shall actually put my feature about Camelots linked into that newsletter. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to that, and you'll be able to see for yourself what it's all about. Incidentally, in this summer issue, we've got Graham Freeman and the master himself, Matthew Gleaves, British bench press champion, talking about wind, which is something that we all suffer from in every form. It's quite interesting, actually. Is talking about using wind flags and how to read them and when to time your shots and that sort of stuff, which, of course, all links nicely back to your woodland courses and HFT itself. That's about reading the wind as well as hunting is. So, right, let's talk a bit about hunting, Danny, because I wasn't aware when I came to see you just how much hunting you do yourself. And I noticed you've got a bit of a YouTube channel going on as well. I don't know if you want to give that a little bit of a plug while you're on air, but you've got some pretty good content out there, mate.
I started hunting. Well, I got my first ever air rifle. Which actually was a BSA Meteor Mark 1. It's a family heirloom, apparently. I'm not allowed to sell it or anything. My dad's kindly passed it down. When I think I was about 7, and we used to shoot at an old wooden door down on the farm, and I got into doing that. And then as I've got older, I started basically, one of my dad's friends, he had a HW80, and it used to take me out when he used to come down and shoot rabbits in my dad's fields and stuff, and that really got me into it. And then as it just, obviously it progresses and progresses and progresses, and then I think my first ever pneumatic rifle was a Logan Mark 1 when they were around, and then I progressed to a Ripley AR5S. Ripleys were like one of the in things. Terry shot a lot of Ripleys, haven't you, Terry?
Yeah, oh yes.
Yes. And then basically, set the YouTube channel up. I've always hunted. Set the YouTube channel up 2-3 years ago, just as a bit of a joke, really. My missus said that you're not going to do this and all this. And I was all right, and watch this then. I started off doing that. It was originally called Ray Ray Hunting. But my mates, the lads, called me Ray Ray after Ray Donovan, the Netflix series. But I called it that anyway. And then when we set Camelots up, I changed it to Camelot Country Sports, so it coincided with the range. And then I've done a few reviews on guns. My local gun shop, More Edges Air Guns, they obviously sponsor me for it, so they've been kindly to pass me some guns over. I've done a couple of reviews for them down at the range on different ones as well, which is nice. And I've got about 2,500 subscribers at the minute. So yeah, it's growing every day and stuff. And I do enjoy doing it and sharing with everybody and things. Everyone's got different views on how you should do stuff, which is just human, isn't it? It's great. And you do pick up quite a lot of other things in the comments as well of what other people's experiences are. And obviously I watch Matt as well. Watch Matt quite a lot. And, you'll kind of pick up loads of different stuff, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, some of the guns you've just mentioned there, it's like sort of stuff I could only dream of as a kid. What was that? What was when I came to see you? You and Dom had a little shoot, didn't you? Went round the course and shot atrociously because I was there with the camera. What was it you were shooting there? Because that was it was a Springer, wasn't it?
Yeah. So me and Dom set ourselves both the challenge. We were going to shoot Springers for a month because we've only really ever shot pneumatics since for ages. So that was HW97K Zenith tuned by a bloke called Nick Murphy tuned it, and he had a Warren Edwards custom stock on it. So it were basically we were doing that, and I shot atrocious that day. I'm not even going to lie.
It's the pressure of the camera.
That was it. I got a bit nervous. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Right then. Got any more questions, Terry?
Yep, I got one that will we can all contribute to. It's one of the best questions I've ever been asked. There's a chap who got in touch with me. He wants to start hunting with his air rifles, but he doesn't want to do it until he's good enough. Okay, which is a great thing to start with. He said to me, I've got it written down here, how long would it take a complete novice to reach the hunting standard? Okay, now that's a very open-ended question, but it also brings. I'm going to offer my bit. For a start, I will say to him, it's how much how determined you are to reach that standard. That's what will dictate it. If you're going to have 10 shots every other week, then it'll take the rest of your life. But if you're determined to learn and to put what you learn into action, and one of the greatest things you could ever do is go down to a club like Danny's or any club with like-minded people in there and really start that learning curve. Get some reasonable gear, not necessarily the best gear in the world, but learn, just learn, and then put it all into action. And I reckon with the right training and the right encouragement from club mates, using the right gear, I reckon you could do it in 2 months, couple of months. You could be up to the standard of putting pellets inside an inch at every range you're going to take a shot at live ammo, a live quarry. But that's what the restriction would be. The hunting standard isn't one standard. There are people out there who can take shots out to 25 yards. There are people who can take it to 45 yards. So that's their hunting standard. The most important point of all this is the hunting standard is your standard, not just a standard. It's your standard. It's the range at which you can consistently group shots under an inch. There's your hunting standard. And of course, then you've got to learn the field craft. That's just the marksmanship. You've got to get close enough. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to do quarry recognition. And yes, 2 months to get within the mechanical sort of hunting standard. And as someone it will be 68 in 2 days' time, prepare the presents and bunting and frolics, boys. But I'm still learning, literally learning every trip I still do. So there's no end to the learning bit. But I'm pretty sure what he meant was how long will it take to be a good enough shot? And I reckon a couple of months of total dedication. What do you reckon, Danny?
I couldn't agree with you more, Terry. It's like, yeah, you've got to be able to safely and consistently get that group in as best you can with every shot that you take, to make sure you cleanly dispatch something, otherwise it's not fair on the quarry at all if you're incapable of doing that. I've basically agree with you about the second thing. Once you've honed your skills in doing that, it's all about the fieldcraft. It takes you a lifetime to be able to stalk a rabbit to get within 30 yards. You've got to know your surroundings, know where, know your permissions. I mean, if I ever get a new permission, I got one a couple of weeks back, and I went down there without my gun for the first time and just had a quick walk around myself. Just had a quick, trying to look at different things, look at where I could probably lay down and maybe ambush or sit down and ambush as opposed to stalking. And the main thing was it was quite overwhelmed with rabbits. It was, are they gonna? Do they run off when they see me in normal clothes, or do they, run off at human sight as well? Because some rabbits are more twitchy than others, aren't they? Because of different things. I mean, I've been to permissions before where they're that used to humans, you didn't even have to stalk them. You could just sit there and walk up to them. It's crazy, but I think the main thing is get in your group and consistently do it. Find out what pellets your gun likes and hone, get that mastered first, and then your actual fieldcraft skills. That again comes with time, and like Terry says, that takes a lifetime to master. Even both me and Terry, and probably even you, Dave, we've not all our years of experience together, and we'd all say something different. So that just comes with time, and obviously, like anything, like any sport, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. It's like Terry said, you'll know when you're ready. You'll know when you're ready to make that jump and go out and shoot live quarry. Once you've spent that time on the range and you've worked out what pellets your gun likes, you've worked out your ranges, you've worked out what hold under you're going to need at varying ranges, and you've got to know your scope and your rifle inside out. Only then, it will click and you go, right, I'm going to go out hunting now. And even then, it's like you were saying, doing the recon bit. I mean, whenever I write a feature about getting a new permission, I do exactly the same. I don't put the rifle in the car because the temptation is, oh, look, there's 20 rabbits there. Get the rifle and go and mess it all up. Just sit there take a flask of tea with you. You know, just sit there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Just as it's getting dark, you know, and just look where they're coming from, look where they're going to. Then you, like you say, you can walk around the permission. You can find yourself some ambush points, but at the same time, you've got to look behind and see, have I got a safe backstop? There's so many different factors to shooting live quarry rather than just rocking up and taking a shot and missing it. It's practice, practice, practice. You'll know when you're ready, or your rifle, or your scoreboard will tell you when you're ready. Your targets will when you're consistently putting pellets into a thumbnail-sized group. You know, you're ready, but then you've got to go and do your fieldcraft. So, yeah, it's there isn't a set time. But I do agree, Terry. I reckon it's a good 2 months of hard work from absolutely nothing, from never shot before to actually getting there and having the confidence in yourself, in your own ability and your shooting on the range to actually go out and shoot something. So, yeah, no, I agree totally.
We can these days sort of buy our way a couple of shortcuts, like a rangefinder. I always take a rangefinder with me now, always. Sticks, shooting off sticks, great, absolute things we never did as kids, but shooting off sticks. And the big one, if you find yourself really into it, a thermal spotter to help you build the picture of your shoot, to help you map out the quarry hotspots, daylight or dark. There's nothing to touch a thermal spot, and even if you don't have a scope, to have a thermal monocular that just to use as a scanning instrument. Those three things you can buy your way, and they're not absolutely necessary, but man, do they speed things up a bit. I've got to say, I would never go hunting without a thermal spotter now. Never.
Yeah, I mean, there's the way technology is progressing at the moment. Thermal spotter, it has revolutionised the way I hunt, and I'm sure it's the same for both of you guys and pretty much everyone else watching this. You know, we kept banging on about the T2 Pro, 165 quid, plugs into your phone. That's all you need. You don't have to go and spend thousands of pounds on a spotter. Incidentally, while we're talking about thermal, I'm going to just show you something that got delivered to me for review this morning. Now, I am going to review this in the magazine, and I'm probably going to get an absolute load of stick for it. But, this turned up. It's an ATN Mars 5 XD Smart HD thermal rifle scope. What's so good about that, you say? Well, this is a 4-40 times zoom.
Hey.
Thermal with a laser rangefinder on it. It's a beast. It's an absolute beast. Yeah. Just shy of £7,000 I've got in my hand. It's a car. I'm holding a car in my hands. Like I say, I do get a bit of stick for reviewing really expensive rifles and stuff in the mag, but at the end of the day, it's aspirational. I'm never going to be able to afford one of these. Not in a million years. Never. But I've been sent it for review. So who in their right mind is not going to want to get out in the field with that? It's got the reason it's so big, it's got a massive 1,000 or whatever it is pixel sensor in it. It's the best sensor you can get thermal wise. I mean, I'm really looking forward to going out and recording some video and getting some stills on that and just seeing what the quality is actually like for that sort of money.
I think it's absolutely magnificent. They put Ferraris on motoring magazine covers. Not many people are going to. Well, Danny can if he wants. He'll have two of them. But it's there, isn't it? It's there. And I will say, in years to come, whatever that thing does, it's going to come down. Somebody's going to bring it down smaller, cheaper, doing all the stuff. This is a glimpse into the future. And you, as the magazine editor, it's your job to show us what the future is going to be. And we're not saying, look, you've all got to go out and buy one of these. Just say, wow, look what somebody's made. Look at this, what they've made. And you can have it on an air gun. I used to get stick years ago for using a scope. That's 3-9 by 40. What more? That's cheating. That's cheating. That is. What's wrong with open scope? Yeah, no, I'd love to see that. I might have to sneak up there and have a play with that. I think I love the sound of that.
When you finish with it, Dave, make sure you send it over to Doncaster and I'll do a review on it.
Well, when you think about it, because I mean, we've all been shooting for a long time, but I don't know if you guys can remember far back when, before thermal rifle scopes were a thing for us mere mortals, we all had friends in the forces. And I can remember one of my friends showing me some Polaroid photographs. He didn't actually show me the unit, but, this is what our snipers are using. And they were like 30, 40 grand a piece. And that was like cutting edge thermal technology. They were twice the size of this thing I've got here. And that's what the army was using, and then as time's gone on, all of a sudden, they've made it smaller and lighter and more accessible, and boom, there's your first thermal rifle scope for hunters, not necessarily air gunners, but hunters in general.
No, I remember a guy showing me, I was working in a tropical fish outlet, right? It's one of my other talents. And he came in and he had this watch on with a black face. And I said, what's that? I thought he was in the military or something. Oh, he said it's, and he pressed a button and the time showed up in red LED. It had the time and date. That's all it had. It was made by a company called Washington. And in 1976, it was 400 quid. And I thought, one day I'll own one of those. 3 years later, my then girlfriend gave me one of those watches. I think it was £27, I think it was, with all sorts on it. Miles more than he had on his. And then a couple of years after that, they were giving them away with a gallon of oil. You could get them in a petrol station. 400 quid it was a few years earlier. No, I think it's a superb piece of kit. The fact that that sort of stuff is out there for us is, I've always said it, it's just a blessing on our sport. And you don't have to buy it. It's great to watch it. I'd love to see what it does. Yeah, book us in for one of those. We'll come up and have a play.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But let's get some more readers' questions here. This is one that you'll both be able to chip in on. It's got, hi Dave. When I'm shooting off sticks, specifically a tripod, do you always make sure that the legs are equally extended and spread out, or do you just shoot it willy-nilly? Now, you shoot a lot off of sticks, don't you, Danny?
Yeah, so I've tried all different disciplines, and I've settled on sticks. You're not rolling around in the mud, for one. So, yeah, I do shoot quite a lot of sticks at the club. And I've got the Primos Gen 3 trigger sticks. They actually do lock out at a certain place anyway. I always make sure they are locked out and then obviously adjust the height with the trigger, and then I always work off that basis. I know that ground can be uneven and everything else like that, but the ground, normally the up and down on the trigger stick sorts that out, as long as they're always in the same place. So I always go through, Terry taught me about routines and how essential a routine is. Go through the same routine for every shot that I take, make sure that the gun's obviously at the same point on the trigger stick every time. I've got a little trick that I kind of wrap my finger around so I know it's at the same point as well. And yeah, so I would say it does probably get your routine right. If you have got the Gen 3 trigger stick, then obviously make sure that they lock out and it locks out, and then just adjust the height. And 9 times out of 10, I hit the target, unless I'm with you, Dave.
What about you, Terry? What do you say?
Exactly the same. When I'm deploying the sticks to take the shot, I've got my eyes on the quarry anyway, and I have one leg facing forward, and I sort of rock it down from the 2 legs at the back. I pull the trigger and let the front leg touch, and then I just keep the trigger pulled and lower the rifle, and then let go of the trigger to lock it out. I might do a little bit of adjustment here and there, but then I can put my left leg sort of between the three sticks, and I'm on it. Same as Danny. Same routine every time. If the ground really is uneven, then the sticks will adjust themselves. They'll compensate for it. But I keep my eyes on the quarry at all times. Keep all movement really slow, really, really slow. But those sticks that Dan's just mentioned, absolutely brilliant. You just notice how wobbly you are without. And you've got a duty to be the best you can be in the hunting field, and the best I can be is propped on a stick. Even when I'm sitting or kneeling, I'm better on a stick. So, it's supported shooting's better. You'll do your best shot. You'll do your best groups off a bench. You absolutely will. So that you've got to take your bench with you in the hunting field, and that's the sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was from a guy called Peter Allen. So there you go, Peter. Two excellent answers there. I mean, I may just add, it's nice to be able to have your sticks fully extended and locked out like that. But I have had on occasions where I've walked round the corner and seen a rabbit, or I've been walking through the barn and a rat's just appeared. I have on occasions not locked them out and just, they've been at that sort of angle rather than that sort of angle. But so long as you're sturdy and so long as you're sure that tripod is not going to move, and you can get your shot off quickly and cleanly, then it's not a problem. But yeah, 99.9% of the time, try and make sure everything's locked out and it's all rock solid, so there's less margin for error. Okay, I've got another question here from a guy called Clint Edwards. Now, he says he's got one of the new Wire Arc 125 year limited edition with the red and grey black stock. They're really nice. He's got a 50S. He said, I've shot it a few times, as you do when you get it, because it was brand new, but he wants to put it away probably for 6 months before he gets it out and shoots it again. He's saying, can you tell me, do I clean out the barrel and then put some gun oil down it before I put it away? So, I'll let Terry go on this one first.
Well, I would give it a wipe over, get every fingerprint off it, and I wouldn't use a felt pellet through it. I just give it a very light pull through with some decent gun oil. And if you can, store it horizontally. Don't stand it on the butt to let the oil out of the barrel seep through the transfer port into the chamber, because that'll diesel. That is very likely to cause dieseling. So if you can store it horizontally, then the oil won't run back into the compression chamber. But yeah, I would put something on the inside of the barrel. Although with a Springer, of course, when a Springer discharges, then you get a minute film, a cloud of micro droplets usually follow behind the pellet. But to make for storage for 6 months, though, quite why you're going to leave it alone for 6 months, that's a bit of a mystery to me, but it's up to him. I would give it a light pull through with a proper gun oil, and then leave it. But make sure you've got every single salty fingerprint off that gun before you put it away. And don't wrap it in plastic to put it away either. Just get it in a nice, dry gun case. Make sure it is. So, yeah, that's what I would do. And store it horizontally. Don't let it seep down into the chamber.
You got anything to add to that, Danny?
I don't think I can. I think the master's said it all, hasn't he? Something like that. Yeah, I agree with Terry on everything he just said then. I got using Napier pull-through kit. Like Terry just said, though, not too much oil, just like a light pull-through on your barrel and store it horizontal. But another thing, like I said, why do you want to put something like that away for 6 months is beyond me. Yeah. I'd have it out all the time, shooting it. Pride of play.
I think Wire Arc actually recommend ballast oil, is it?
Yeah, ballast oil.
Ballast oil. Yeah, that's what they recommend to use with their rifles. So yeah, and like you say, fingerprints on nicely blued barrels is not a good thing. Get them fingerprints off, because all the yucky stuff and grease in your fingers that can cause havoc with bluing over time.
You spoke about ballast oil. Vira very kindly presented me with a like a plywood sort of plate with 125 years on it. They're in that red and grey they do. Beautiful thing. And with it is a little bottle of ballastol like that, but it's not ballastol at all. It's schnapps in a ballastol bottle. So yeah, I swear this is true. So you're in your man cave sort of thing, cleaning your gun, and have a quick swig out of the ballastol bottle. You've got to have your wits about you, though. Because it is a genuine. It looks for all the world like a ballastol bottle, but there's schnapps in it. Yeah, those crazy German guys, eh?
I'm going to go see him tomorrow. I've got to drop the 325 year anniversary rifles back to him. So I'm going to pop up there and see him all tomorrow. I shall ask him about the schnapps.
Ask him about that. Say, why didn't you get any schnapps? Say. I got a chap. I don't know if his name's Philip Marks or Mark Phillips, because I've got them sort of mixed up. But it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, Mark, if you're watching this or Philip, he said, what are the most common mistakes that newbies make, new air gunners make, that really set them back? Okay. And I came up with cheap mounts, cheap scope mounts, absolute nightmare. Everything you program into your hobby can be undermined by, first of all, cheap mounts, and secondly, by the next thing I said, was not testing your pellets to find the best one. And the third thing I came up with is that old chestnut of mine is poor gun fit. The idea that the three men on this screen, who all have different size shoes, I'll guarantee it, are going to use the most reactive piece of equipment anybody could ever use and have the same size as a one size fits all is ludicrous. It's mad. So that's the three things I told him to sort out: poor gun fit, not testing pellets, and cheap mounts. And the first, the pellets and the mounts are a cheap fix. The gun fit might be a little bit more expensive, but depends how much you want it. Good air gun shooting, efficient, getting the most out of your rifle, is never, ever a one size fits all. Even if you're the same body size, same body type, your technique won't be the same as the next guy. So that rifle must fit you and your technique, your best technique, not the other way around. Otherwise, it's a compromise. And then you have to say, yep, I've just signed up for second best. I'm happy with second best. And if you are, fine. But get those three things absolutely sorted. Good mounts, proper pellets, and gun fit. What do you reckon, Danny?
Couldn't agree with you more. You can definitely tell when you've got a unappropriate mounts on your rifle. I tend to use Sports Match. I know you're a big fan of them, Dave, and aren't you? Never seem to let you down. So you very rarely, once you've zeroed your gun in with them, you don't have to tinker about with it too much after that once it's been zeroed in. Definitely your pellets. I've got probably 50, 60 tins at the range at the minute whenever someone gets a new gun, and normally to try and hand them out 10 pellets from every tin and say, look, that's the main thing. You need to find out what pellet it uses, because not everyone actually realises that. They just think you can buy one and chuck any pellet down it and it's going to be accurate, when in reality it's not. Gun fit. So you spoke about like that on the lesson, Terry, didn't you? About gun fit. When you're shooting, no matter if you're target shooting or hunting, if you're shooting something that's comfy and it comes up to your shoulder every time and you just feel comfortable around it, it's going to make you a better shot, as opposed to pulling something up and it feels awkward and it's not right, it's forehand heavy or whatever things. Comfort, I believe, is a massive thing, as well as the other two you said, Terry. It's going to make you a better shooter, all-round shooter. But even when you're looking at going to purchase your first gun, or whatever, however many you've got, you need to set that into account more than anything really about the gun fit, because the BSA Wilderness CLX or whatever is totally different to a Day State Red Wolf. Totally different in weight and everything. So and size and.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. The other thing as well about gun fit is a lot of people will get to the range and they'll be shooting off a bag or shooting off a bipod or whatever, and in effect your gun's pretty much sort of locked in place, isn't it? So you can start shooting targets and getting pellet on pellet off a bench, and it's not that hard to do. It's when you come away from that and you want to shoot off sticks, or you're out in the field and you want to lay down with a bipod in prone position or whatever, things can start to change a little bit then. You've got like things like scope cant and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that the three fundamentals, I think Terry's covered absolutely spot on. And then after that, you can work on your trigger technique and your breathing and all that sort of stuff. That comes next, doesn't it? But I think gun fit is one of the most important. If you can get that right, that will allow you to work through your pellets and find out what pellets are best, or what pellets your rifle likes best. So some good questions there. I think we're just about done. So, well, everybody watching and listening, thank you ever so much for tuning in to this show. Of course, I'd like to say thank you to Terry and, of course, to Danny thanks for joining us on today's show, mate. That's been absolutely brilliant. Again, thank you to Crackshot, our sponsor, our show sponsor. Go and give them a look at crackshot.uk. Matt and Rich will be back in a couple of weeks' time, and Terry and I will see you in a month's time. Thanks for watching, everybody.